The first time I saw it, nestled deep in the Montana wilderness, it felt less like a house and more like a sleeping giant. Weathered wood, a stone chimney, breathing a thin wisp of smoke into the crisp air. It wasn't grand, but it felt alive. I bought it on a whim, a desperate escape from the city's suffocating grip. I needed space to breathe, and this place, surrounded by endless sky and towering pines, seemed to promise just that. The first few weeks were a honeymoon. The quiet was so profound it was almost a sound in itself. At night, I'd lie in bed and listen to the house settle, a gentle creak of the floorboards, a soft groan from the wooden beams. I started to notice a rhythm to it, a slow, steady pulse that seemed to echo my own. When I took a deep breath, I could almost feel the walls expand just a fraction of an inch. As I exhaled, the floor seemed to settle, sinking back into a comfortable rest. Inhale, expand, exhale, settle. It was a comforting, hypnotic dance. I felt a connection to this place that was primal, symbiotic. We were breathing together, this old house and me. It felt like I had finally found a place where I truly belonged, where the very structure around me was an extension of my own body. I named it the breathing house. It became my little secret, my private joke. I'd sit on the porch in the evenings, a cup of tea warming my hands, and I'd practice deep, slow breaths, feeling the house respond. Inhale, the porch swing would lift slightly. Exhale, a gentle sigh from the eaves. It was magical. I felt like the conductor of a strange, wooden orchestra. My stress melted away, my anxieties quieted by the rhythmic pulse of my home. The city felt like a distant, bad dream. Here I was in sync with the world, with the wood and stone that sheltered me. The house was my lungs, and I was its heart. The change was subtle at first. So subtle I thought I was imagining it. It was a cold Tuesday night. A storm was rolling in, the wind rattling the window panes. I was feeling anxious, my chest tight, my breathing shallow and quick. I lay in bed, trying to calm myself, focusing on the house. I took a deep breath, expecting that familiar, comforting expansion. But it didn't come. I tried again, a ragged gasp for air, nothing. The house remained still, quiet. Instead, I felt a different rhythm, a slow, deep, impossibly steady breath that wasn't mine. Inhale. A long drawn-out expansion that made the timbers groan with a power I'd never felt before. Exhale, a deep, resonant settling that vibrated through the mattress. My heart hammered against my ribs. I sat up, my own breath catching in my throat. The house was breathing on its own. It wasn't matching me anymore. Its rhythm was slow, powerful, confident. It was the breath of something ancient and sure of itself. I felt like a parasite, a stowaway in a body that was no longer mine. I scrambled out of bed, my feet hitting the cold floor. The house took another breath, and the floorboards beneath me seemed to swell, pushing me off balance. A wave of dizziness washed over me. The air in the room felt thick, heavy, like it was being drawn into a massive pair of lungs that I couldn't see. Panic set in, cold and sharp. I ran through the living room, my own breaths coming in short, panicked pants, gasp, gasp, gasp. But the house was calm. Its breathing was the slow, measured rhythm of a deep sleeper. A profound, unbothered peace that was a terrifying mockery of my own frantic struggle for air. It was like listening to a metronome tick-tock while your own heart threatened to explode. Every slow expansion of the walls, every deep settling of the foundation, seemed to suck the oxygen right out of my lungs. It was learning. It had used my rhythm, my life force, to remember how to breathe, and now it didn't need me anymore. I was redundant. I fumbled with the lock on the front door, my fingers clumsy and slick with sweat. The house took another deep, slow breath. The doorframe seemed to warp to tighten around the door, making it harder to turn the bolt. It wasn't trying to keep me in, not actively. It just didn't care. Its own life, its own breathing, was all that mattered. My presence was an error. I finally wrenched the door open and stumbled out into the freezing night air, the storm now raging around me. The wind was a physical blow, but the air was glorious. I fell to my knees in the mud and wet leaves, gulping it down, my lungs burning. Behind me, I could still feel it. The slow, steady pulse of the house. Inhale, exhale. It was a living creature now, awake and independent. I had been its training wheels, and it had finally learned to ride on its own. I looked back at the darkened windows, which now seemed like closed, sleeping eyes. I had come here to find a place to breathe, and in a cruel twist of irony, I had given that ability to the house itself, leaving none for me. I never went back inside. I couldn't. I spent the rest of the night in my car, parked at the edge of the property, watching. Even from a distance, I could feel it. The ground beneath the car would vibrate ever so slightly with each powerful exhalation. It was a constant, terrifying reminder. The house was breathing, and I was an outsider. Even miles down the road, even now, years later, in a sterile city apartment, I sometimes feel it. A phantom sensation, a memory of walls expanding, of floors settling. It's a ghost in my own chest. Sometimes, late at night, when the city is quiet, I hold my breath and listen. And in the silence, I can almost hear it. A slow, steady rhythm, far away in the Montana wilderness. The sound of the house that learned how to breathe without me. And that's when the air leaves my lungs for just a moment, and I have to fight to get it back. It's a constant struggle, a reminder that I gave my breath away, and a part of me is still trapped in that house, forever fueling its quiet, monstrous life. I wonder, does it ever think of me? Or was I just the first gasp of air it took before starting a life of its own? The truth is, I think I know the answer. I was just the spark. The real life, the real breath, was always waiting inside that wood and stone, and it's still there, breathing, always breathing. Thank you so much for watching. If this story sent a chill down your spine, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe out there.